There are many things happening
But, sorry to
which,
disturb you, sir.
yes,
So
please.
if you would like to do a formal welcome of yours, sir.
Okay, do it, do it.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. So, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the session 4 of our webinar series Inspiring Careers in Wildlife, organized by CWCS Bhakta Kavi Narsa Mehta University, Junagadh. Today's session is focuses on highly relevant and inspiring topic biodiversity parks of Delhi, a novel approach to restore riverscapes or landscapes for environmental sustainability and resilience. Okay. Now I would like to invite Dr. Shabnam Sayed to give an overview about the whole webinar series. Please, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Saki. Very warm welcome to all of you. Today we are having our fourth webinar, and I'm very happy and excited once again, to welcome all of you. So this particular webinar series, we all know that is particularly designed to interact with different experts of wildlife and different kind of enthusiasts in the field of wildlife. So we had till date 3 webinars. So in particular, all the webinars we had tried to cover different zones. Like some of them were from scientist background, some of them from zoo captive science background, some of them were early birders in the field of wildlife sciences. So once again, I really feel very good that we all are doing it with full enthusiasm, and you all are also participating with the same energy. Along with that, CWCS is also dedicated kind of dedicated center which is working on the science-based conservation of wildlife and natural resources. We would also like to share that we are all to just start our MSc Wildlife. I think at the end of the June month, you can check our websites. So CWCS is a dedicated wildlife center of Gujarat state, which is working on different projects like conservation of sloth bear, like lion corridors, like wildlife coexistence and conflict of leopard, also like species like sea turtle conservation. So this is also one of our objective to create, the capacity building in the field of wildlife stakeholders like students, UG, students, wildlife enthusiasts, PhD scholars, nature enthusiasts, wildlife photographers. So yeah, I'll not take much time, and I'll just invite Saki to introduce our honorable guest speaker today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Sayed. Now we are very privileged to have with us an eminent restoration ecologist, wildlife researcher, and conservation practitioner, Dr. Fayaz A. Kudsar. Dr. Fayaz is a well-known restoration ecologist working at the University of Delhi. Fayaz is a keen wildlife researcher, spent his childhood watching Ganges River's dolphin, and later got involved in the preparation of second home for the Asiatic lions, the Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary in Madhya Pradesh. His research work is already published in the book titled Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary, Preparing Second Home for Asiatic Lions. Dr. Fayaz is a recipient of Carl Zeiss Award 2008 for his work in the Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary. He has authored many specific papers and popular articles. Many documentaries as a miniature tiger of India on VOX Walks, Germany, and Asiatic lions on roll call shown on Delhi Doordarshan are made on him. He is currently working as a principal scientist of the Yamuna Biodiversity Park, Delhi, where he, with a team of scientists, has restored biotic communities belonging to Yamuna River Basin. Today, he will share his valuable insights on the concept of development of biodiversity parks, riverscapes, and landscape restoration in urban environment and the lessons emerging from the Delhi Biodiversity Parks initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm welcome to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Fayaz Ekut, sir. Sir, the stage is all yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Could you hear me now, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. You see now, as I said, everything is fine, who I am and what I am doing. But what is happening is very crucial to see that the suffering of this earth, planet Earth, the suffering of human being, the suffering of everything is very, what do you call, known. And therefore, what is the answer? And over a period of time, we could realize that answer is still lies with establishing ecological processes. And for establishing ecological processes, biodiversity is crucial. Therefore, I chosen a topic on which we are working since last 22 23 years, and there is a network of 7 biodiversity park in Delhi. I look after all these 7 biodiversity park. Yamuna Biodiversity Park is popular because Yamuna Biodiversity Park has been designated as the first biodiversity park of the country. So the moment we talk about anything, that should initiate with environment. So what is environment when you see? And in a layman language, when we try to understand what is environment, it is just surrounding of any object. You are sitting somewhere and your surrounding is an environment, and that object may be living or non-living. And it's so crucial while studying in Chambal, what do you call, National Sanctuary. I was looking at a beautiful long-snouted crocodile that is ghadial, and I tried to understand that how temperature is one of the very important component of environment, plays critical role. And with this example, I try to convey that how environment is very essential for our own survival and for the survival of other organism on the planet Earth. When you see ghadial, the long-snouted crocodile, mind it, we don't have alligator in India. The animal which looks like an alligator, this is endemic to India, and it is ghadial. Why ghadial? Because male has snout on the nose and resemble ghada, as therefore it's ghadial. So actually, interestingly, in reptilian world, temperature plays crucial role in determining their sex. And while working in Chambal, I found that sand, thickness of sand plays very important role. But unfortunately, over a period of time, we had requirement of huge amount of sand for constructing our building, bridges, roads, etc. And therefore, exploitation of sand created thin layer of sand. So this poor, what you call ghadial, has no idea. They climb on a slope of sand along the river, and they dig and lay egg and bury it. And that burial is very important and crucial. Thickness of the sand determine the temperature. If temperature is, what you call, very high, then probably the oil become male around 33 34. And if temperature is low, like 30 degree, then all comes female. And I tell you, Chambal is suffering because there is a huge problem among male and female ratio. So now I tried explaining you that how a single component of environment become very crucial for some of the organism. So what constitutes environment? When we say it is not a rocket science, it is water, air, land, and the living organism. These are environment, and they are very important, and therefore they are also considered as resources, natural resources. So actually, what they do, these natural resources, in fact, these important component, the air, water, land, and living organism, they interact among themselves and form a very complex functional natural system, which is known as ecosystem. How do you see it? Graphics which I made after discussion with legendary ecosystem. They interact between them and among themselves, and they never sit quiet. Actually, they keep fighting, and that fighting initiate ecological processes, and that ecological process is very crucial for environmental sustainability, which I'll further explain to you. So if you deplete or degrade any of the natural resources, or you may disrupt any such interaction, then you lose ecosystem services. Because what is crucial for our life, the most crucial component of our life is air and water. We must not forget that whether we are doing A job or B job, or where we are sitting on the top position, or whether we are sitting on the lowest position, air and water are the primary requirement for the human being. So our job, our employment, our career orientation must be there to see that how we generate air and what you call water. So far, we have not found any such publication in the world which can which suggests that you can produce sufficient amount of air and water which can sustain humanity. So therefore, this production of air and water largely depend on these interaction, and which gives you ecosystem goods and services. So for example, in recent past, from Uttarakhand and Himachal, there are a lot of landslides. So if you remove vegetation for making roads, etc., then soil formation become very, very, very difficult. We made plastic, but nobody can make soil. Soil can be made through what you call withering, and withering of rocks, and a river and forest makes it. So please remember it, that these processes can only be intact when these resources, these natural resources, are intact. Otherwise, there is a serious problem. I said that Delhi is suffering from heat island effect. If you go out, you cannot sit, you cannot stand, and the poorest of the poor are suffering who are working on the road. So, you know, when a lot of changes took place in environment over a period of time, even most important is in urban center, the what you call environment has been displaced and moved out from the development matrix. So what is the manifestation of 21st century environmental challenges? The first and foremost is land degradation, we all know. The loss of biodiversity. For example, in Delhi itself, we have seen some of the very important species like Ceropugia bulbosa. Some of the deers we have lost. We had Chinkara here, we have lost. Gangetic dolphin from the Yamuna, Ghadial from the Yamuna, we have lost. Only one species of turtle we now and then we see. Otherwise, largely we lost 6 or 7 species of turtle. There are more than 30 species of fishes we have lost from River Yamuna. Similarly, in Gujarat, you find that there are many species which are restricted to single site, and they are facing variety of extinction threat, because conservation biology suggests that if you are restricted to single site, you have many threats. Any epidemic can wipe out the entire population. Therefore, redistribution of population become very, very important. The nutrient load is growing very, very high. The what you call is especially nitrate. If you see, if you go to any wetland, you will find that what you call nitrate is increasing very high. The phosphate is abnormal. The NPK level is altered, and all these changes, in fact, accelerate climate change. One of the major issues which Gujarat is also suffering, that is biological invasion. When you see, Delhi is the last spur of allowable hill ranges, and it goes up to Gujarat. And when you see Gujarat has a tree species brought by Britisher that we call as Ganda Babul or Prosopis juliflora. That is a weedy, woody species, and that is creating serious problem in the native habitat. Similarly, you have Shervillier, what you call as lantana, is creating another problem, and our wetlands are suffering from Eichhornia. So these biological invasion is creating serious problem from the IAS. IAS is invasive alien species. There are many species, few of them I have mentioned. The water resources are getting depleted. Wetlands and other critical terrestrial and marine ecosystems are on the verge of extinction. And largely the what you call toxic pollutant in soil, water, and air are building up, and therefore ultimately they are becoming public health hazard. During winter, when you see Delhi's suffering become top what you call polluted city in the world, and these are the reason why it is happening. So, but most of the time we consider that population growth is the major problem. But legendary ecologist E.O. Wilson has suggested it is not overpopulation, but our wasteful consumption is another major reason which is creating species to extinction in this centuries itself. And what is this wasteful consumption? This is unequal distribution of resources. There are very few have everything, and they are consuming like anything. I am sitting in an air conditioned room talking to you, but the outside temperature is very abnormal. If you switched off air conditioning in my room, the room would be much more warmer. What is the ambient temperature outside? So therefore, there are few. Therefore, what is the cornerstone of evolution? It suggests mutual regulation of population sizes, because you have very, what you call, limited natural resources, and therefore when population of one species grows, the nature comes forward to regulate it, and it happened. The epidemic, pest and pathogens comes out and creates serious problem. And you remember, a virus which you could not see has created havoc. And when we were we were within the four wall of a room, the air quality improved drastically. So what it suggests, an ecosystem has started working, functioning well. What it suggests, not any war cannot kill 40, 50 lakhs people, but this small, what you call, virus has killed thousands of people, if you see. And when population gone down, it has a good impact on the natural ecosystem. But when you see, the urban centers are more vulnerable, because when you see the majority of ecosystem in urban centers, they are fragmented and simplified. What do you mean by it? Actually, when you have very complex ecosystem, then this pest and pathogen are tend to get diluted within. They never spill over and creates problem. And when you have very simplified ecosystem, then obviously these pest and pathogen comes out and tried finding out, what you call, new host. And when first time in 2000, a lot of people started gathering near Anand Vihar bus adda, I thought, what is happening? And then I have written a story in Hindi in Down to Earth magazine, you must be aware of. And there I suggested that whether this virus is trying to find out alternate host, and there are plenty of human beings outside, and they are trying to grab those human beings as another host. And later on, it happened and it was proved. So, how this city can survive? For survival of the city, you need ecological sustainability. And for ecological sustainability, biodiversity is critical. So now, how you will see biodiversity? I must tell you, for the student especially, that when you look at this word called biodiversity, it's very, very simple. It is used, overused, misused, and abused every day. And majority of places I move around across the country, when I ask people to define biodiversity, largely they come down to the species diversity. But when you look at very carefully, considering one of the very important species in Gujarat called Asiatic lion, then when you define biodiversity, looking at what you call Asiatic lion, then you can say that it is variety and variability of life forms, right from microbes to human beings and their habitat, what constitutes is known as biodiversity. So, how do you see sustainability? As I said, sus- uh, what do you call, sustainability is very essential to see that it provides an ecosystem to initiate or maintain ecological processes. And what are those ecological processes? They are evolution, biogeochemical cycle, succession. And when these processes, what do you call, stay even on the face of external stresses, only then you achieve sustainability. What are those external stresses? Like epidemic, you have flood, you have drought. These are the external stresses. You have high temperature, but still your ecosystem is maintaining those processes. Acting upon those processes means your system is sustainable. And therefore, variety and variability of species and habitat, what is known as biodiversity, is key, what you call critical, for the ecosystem, which enable to carry out natural processes in the face of external stress. So this is the way you actually bring back sustainability. And bringing back sustainability is not only essential for us, but essential for the survival of this planet Earth. And here is our education largely depend the very beautiful, what do you call, uh, biological science, the wildlife biology, the restoration ecology, the aquatic biology plays very important role, bring a lot of people together to see that how a sustainable city, sustainable society can be maintained. So as I said, ecological processes are key for sustainability, and which because it generates wide range of ecological services which contribute to human well-being. So there are two major components on which we need to see. One is what you call water, and other is terrestrial ecosystem. So we'll try to understand both the systems slowly. How do you see a river? When I ask you that, how you define a river? When you see, actually, in its geomorphic form, if you'll try to understand what is a river, as you see, Himalaya, ocean, these are all geomorphic form. So river is also important landforms which supports what you call life on this planet Earth. When you look at the functional definition of a river, then you can say rivers usually it drains surplus water of the earth to the ocean, and while doing it, it also maintains the moisture. Unfortunately, something went wrong. Some river art drains. So actually, you can consider it as a drain, major drain, which takes out surplus water of the earth to the ocean. If you forget about a river, then we will drown in our own sewage. I tell you, our sewage will create the planet Earth as an ocean, and we won't be able to survive. And when you look at the structural form of a river and try to define it, then river actually originates from a trickle of glacier, trickle of water, and snow melt, and further surface runoff and precipitation add it, the groundwater add it, and it becomes very wide when it comes down to the what you call plain area. How river originates? Just for the understanding, when you see, these are springs, and there are many surface runoff joins it, and therefore it forms a small, what do you call, a small river, a rivulet, and many a small rivulet comes together, makes a small river, and many a small river comes together, makes a big river, which ultimately goes to ocean. This is a small area. If you can see my cursor is visible. Is my cursor is visible?
Yes,
Could
sir,
you
your
hear me?
cursor is visible, sir.
So when you see this cursor, this small area can be considered as catchment. If you have many such catchment comes together and makes a watershed, these are the term we all know. And all these comes together up to the ocean mouth, it makes a river basin. And while when you look at when river passes through various places, various ecosystem and generates ecosystem services, and soil is one of them. And now you consider, if we say that we are going to clean the river, until unless we look at the springs are dying now because human beings are even reaching to the highest point. Recently I came to know that from in Kedarnath there are a lot of problems, because Kedarnath is a place from where a lot of springs originates. And similarly, the surface runoff are also got fragmented, water going somewhere else, not getting recharged, and therefore only the rainwater brings springs. How a spring originates? Actually, when rainwater keeps going into the earth's surface, and then due to hydrostatic pressure, when water is full, water comes out in the form of a spring. So this is the basic thing. When you go in the plain area, if you see, the most of the rivers originates from wetland. How it originates? You have a large wetland, and during monsoon, a lot of surface runoff comes from all around, fill this wetland, and a small river originates. And many such a small rivers meets and makes a large river and goes to what do you call ocean. If you see, for example, you in Ahmedabad, you had a beautiful. We have a very beautiful river, and that is Sabarmati River, which originates from Udaipur and go to Bay of Kambat. But unfortunately, that river is now not original, because we brought Narmada water. So therefore, we need to restore that river. Restoring that river will not only bring water to the river, but bring lot of life and livelihood to the people. If you look at this photograph, there are many springs coming together making river, and in plains there are many surface runoff joining together and making a small, what do you call, channel which flows like a small river. This is a hidden river. So what is happening to these life supporting river? In fact, they convert into sewer. Many springs dried up, catchment and watershed are degraded. Many wetlands are extinct, or many wetlands are being filled. In if you look at surrounding areas, many wetlands are being filled, depression are being filled. A lot of constructions are going on. Even construction of large dam is in upstream creating problem for the river in downstream. So therefore, many of the ecosystem which has been created and made by river are highly degraded, and mangrove is one of the best example how they are, getting degraded. So now, when you try to understand river, for example, as a human being, if you see a human being has a, what do you call, uh, uh, has a body system. You have a head, you have two hands, you have a heart, you have brain, you have a lung, you have two legs. If you say that my brain is all right, let my heart won't work, it makes no difference. Do you think that human being will survive? So similarly, when you look at river, river is a system. When I say that, when I ask one engineer that how do you say river, he says that the river is a beautiful pipeline which takes water from one place to other place. And when I asked one real estate that how do you say river, he said, Fayaz, it's a beautiful place, we get sand and boulders. And when I asked one, what do you call, economist that, sir, how do you see a river? He said, oh, it's a marketable commodity, bottle it and sell in the market. So therefore, river is not such commodity, but it's a system. System means it's a various ecosystems. It is collection of various ecosystems. For example, largely we consider the flowing water as a river. So that is main river channel, floodway, waterway, and then you have a riparian ecosystem, active floodplain, natural levees, and upland ecosystem, and there's a very strong connectivity and integrity among them. And any development, including wrong ecological intervention, creates serious problem and disrupt the ecological integrity. These are some of the photographs showing the, what you call, natural levees, but outside the natural levees, entire riparian zone has been occupied by the human. This is river Yamuna, when you see, and here is the riparian zone. This is active floodplain. So for treating river, you have to restore entire area. Only then river will be restored. Nobody can restore river. Nobody can clean river until you restore the entire river. The another ghost which has appeared recently, that is riverfront development. You must be aware of it. So actually, Honorable NGT has suggested that any development and every development must be outside the floodplain, not outside the, what you call, main channel. So most of the time, at most of the places when we have seen, what you call this, riverfront development, they are suffering. This is from Patna. And when I asked many people to show me Ganga from here, the first water they have shown was the sewage. If you see, Ganga went far away. Similarly, in Gomti, it is, look at it, this is main river channel, part of river system. This is riparian zone, which is all concretized. Then you have active floodplain, all lost. Then how this river will be live? Similarly, the famous riverfront, you all are aware of it. Look at it, how we have sold the entire area to real estate, and river is suffering. So therefore, we are not against it. We have only suggested that yes, you go for riverfront development, but you make buffer between sorry sorry make buffer between main river channel and to embankment. And what would be the buffer? The buffer would be biodiversity park, which is nothing but mosaic of forest, grassland, and wetland, which I will show you. And Honorable NGT is also directed that biodiversity park must be brought all along the floodplain of various rivers, including Ganges. So to bring back the lost natural heritage within development matrix of Delhi, the Biodiversity Park, concept of Biodiversity Park was evolved first time in Delhi and implemented uh, with the joint collaboration between DD and Center for Environmental Management of Degraded Ecosystem, Delhi University. Quickly, I'll go through it. Because when we came out with this concept, at many places I have seen board of Biodiversity Park, but we realized that this is not Biodiversity Park. Quickly, we what do you call it, define it, and we have given two times definition two times, and we suggest that Biodiversity Park is a blue-green infrastructure where we restore degraded landscape, riverscape, by re-establishing the characteristic ecosystem through assemblage of species in the form of biological communities belonging to a specific ecological range. Means we should not think about we are working in Yamuna Biodiversity Park or Aravali Biodiversity Park. We cannot think about bringing vegetation from Western Ghat. Actually, it is not plantation, I tell you, neither afforestation nor reforestation. It is ecological restoration. What is ecological restoration? Ecological restoration means you are helping an ecosystem which is degraded, damaged, or even lost. So it is based on sound ecological principle, which says that you need to have a site. When you have a site, you look at the ecological history of the site. That is crucial, because most of the time when we start ecological restoration, when we never consider what you call ecological history, then you try to find out nearest possible reference ecosystem, and then on the basis of available resource, slowly you intervene. So you need to go for restoration planning, and where you argue that what is the rationale of restoration and what is the ecological description of the site, what was there, why loss took place, and what do you call, like a doctor, you prepare a prescription, and then selection of reference ecosystem, a statement of goals and objectives, everything we have to make for it, and then explanation that how the restored area will integrate with the neighborhood landscape, explicit plan, schedule, budget, everything should be there, and we should be prepared for mid course correction, and finally strategies for long term protection and maintenance of the restored ecosystem is required. So when we consider all these aspects in planning, then we write successful story. And how we what you call established forest community, that is very important to understand, that we look at the species diversity, then we look at the growth form and structure, then we look at the dominance, and then succession. Here in Biodiversity Park, we reduce succession because we assemble the forest community, top canopy, middle story, understory, and ground vegetation. Then finally, you look at the what you call nutrient level, nutritional level of the community, that what you call as trophic structure, and then community become functional. We have network of 7 biodiversity park, as I said, Delhi Development Authority and University of Delhi working. Couple of park I'd be discussing. This is Yamuna Biodiversity Park, a spread over area of 457 acres. Initially, this site was given. Now you look at it, they are divided into two parts. One is phase 1, another is phase 2, surrounded by a lot of human habitation. Phase 2 is close to river Yamuna, and we have created one ecological corridor connecting both the phases, and this is the current situation, if you see carefully, restored. So how we do it? Because whenever you start doing anything, people will ask that what is the tangible result which you are able to see the what you call public. Then we created a small visitor zone and large conservation zone. So initially we started, it was a completely barren area, but when we took this photograph, this is the initial intervention when we started grass, etc. And now this is the visitor area where there is an entry gate. We have trail and tracks, and different modules we added, like butterfly conservatory, medicinal plant conservatory, conservatory for fruit-yielding trees, and some representative ecosystem, and one nature interpretation center. If you see, if you can compare the same site in 2002 and 2019, these are conservatory for medicinal plant, where about 150 species of medicinal plant from Yamuna Basin has been brought. And this is butterfly conservatory. It is very important to understand that when we tried establishing butterfly conservatory, it was very difficult initially because wind pressure play a very important role into it. So we brought a host plant all around, and then in the middle portion we will brought nectar bearing plants, and then we made a small water body for what you call regulating ambient temperature and surrounding, and that water body also help in mud puddling to the butterflies, and we started getting plenty of butterfly. And we also brought, while surveying entire Yamuna basin, we found that some of the villages growing some of the fruits. So we brought some of the fruit in a small area so that visitors can see and understand that these floodplains are highly productive and they give goods and services. So what we did initially when we reached to the site was highly sodic. pH at some places were 9.8 where nothing can grow. So we decided let's raise the land. For raising the land, we had requirement of huge amount of soil. If you bring soil from somewhere else, it will not create only ecological disaster, but it will cost a lot. Therefore, we started talking to the soil, and we found that there were indicators suggesting that subsoil aquifer is very high. In fact, in other words, that was a wetland which has been silted and filled up, and we use those wetland, restore it, desilt it, and silt utilized to create these mounds. We brought a lot of native grasses species, and especially we identify one grass species called Leptoclova fusca, and that played a magic. It has capacity to reduce what you call salinity from 10 to 7, pH from 10 to 7. We played over 150 species of grasses. Now a lot of life arrived, and many annual grasses started coming in. You look at it, this was the scenario initially, how it changes and how we restored the wetland. If you see the first slide, we have typhoon phragmitis suggesting subsoil aquifer is very high. We restored a wetland of 1.5 kilometers. You see now the restoration took place like this. And you may ask what you achieve by doing it. And this is the characteristic vegetation of phragmitis, typha, and tamarix. Historically, Yamuna had these vegetation. So the beautiful birds, the first heronry we established in Yamuna Valley Park became first in Delhi. Historically, 80 years ago, it was breeding near Rajghat. And the beautiful bird, the black-crowned night heron, which we almost lost the breeding population. Now many birds are breeding here in Yamuna Valley Park. And then we restored a deep wetland looking at the indicator. And a lot of migratory birds during winter arrived from Europe, Siberia, and China. Look at it. The thousands of birds arrived, and many resident birds started breeding in the restored wetland. Similarly, we restored the active floodplain. We identified one paleo channel and we restored it. If you look at it, initial phase, this was the degraded paleo channel full of weedy species, no water, and we restore it. We desilt it, we created embankment, and we allowed floodwater to come in. We played with slope gradient, and we started restoring it. And this is the scenario now you see. This is the wetland, and this is the grassland, characteristic grassland restored. How in 2014 we started in phase 2, that is active floodplain, and in 2023 it was flooded, full flood. But these established forest community became flood resilient and nothing happened to them. You look at the flood level, nothing happened to them. Flood recedes, again grass comes back. Some of the bird species arrived after a long gap. So by doing it, this is the learning for the student. They must see that most of the time with good intention, whenever we talk about environment, quickly we go for plantation. But when you see, this is the river, for example, this is the river and this is the riparian zone. Here we actually sorry, learn to bring only grasses and herbaceous layer. That is the riparian zone. Then above which we went to active floodplain where we identified marshes and wetland, we restored them, and then we brought again grasses and shrubs and some of the few tree species. Then we went to old alluvium floodplain. Again, there we restored wetland and marsh, identified and restored, and we brought some species of tree and shrub. And on the top, embankment and upland, we brought all riparian forest community. And this is the grassland, characteristic grassland. This is the characteristic forest community established, if you see. And many, initially, Indian hair came in because they are the one who has started, turning over energy at the ground level, feeding on grasses. And we had huge wetlands, and therefore they become home for mosquitoes. But we Never worry about mosquitoes because we have plenty of dragonflies and demersal flies. And here is the important aspect for the student to learn, that how restoring wetland and to bring a lot more dragonfly and demersal fly can help a society, can help a city, can help a center, urban center, to reduce what you call medical health burden on them. And that's why this subject become very crucial for us to study, learn, understand. Similarly, various foraging guild has been made. You see now, calot is feeding on some insect, snake on a squirrel, shikra something on calotis, snake on fish. So various, and first grass herbivory start by grasshopper. You can see snake also feeding on monitor lizard here. So, and then finally restored grassland and forest community brought something very fantastic, an animal which was reported in 1912 in Delhi Gazette, that is hog deer. You see now, this beautiful animal arrived its own, utilizing Yamuna as a corridor, and found this place as a beautiful place, and came and got settled. An arrival of hog deer made us so happy. We have published paper, and this animal become very important. Then we found the beautiful nilgai. This shows complexity of an ecosystem, and help in establishing functionality of an ecosystem. Then you see a lot of wild pigs arrived. We have breeding population of wild pigs. You see now, they are pizzas for leopard. And the beautiful what do you call uh, porcupine. Actually, they are nocturnal. Recently, we found three mounting photos of it, and we are trying to correlate it. There are plenty of Indian hair. Uh, this is also very important previous, the peafall, and one fine morning, the phantom of the forest arrived, and we have resident leopard staying with us since last 2 years. No harm, no problem, nothing. It never confront, and this is the way functional ecosystem has been established. So now quickly I will take you to the Aravali Biodiversity Park in Basant Kunj, how we have restored the degraded, what you call, and moram mined, clay mined Aravali hill ranges, because you belong, Aravali hill ranges extend to your place. You need to understand this was the site given to us, full of Prosopis juliflora and what you call Lantana camara, a barren area. And initially we tried removing lantana, and there's a very famous technique called Professor Babu's technique from our lab, which is being utilized across the country. Professor Babu's technique for lantana removal, that is cut root method. So we utilized that and remove it. Then we did grass seeding, and now changes took place quickly. I will show you that how degraded landscape, where we brought native species. When we came, this Prosopis was full of, the area was full of Prosopis juliflora. So we adopted a technique called what you call reducing the canopy opening technique. So we opened the canopy, we removed the lantana, and we brought native species of grasses, tree species, and shrubby layer. And now you can see the three-story forest community. And actually, these are, Prosopis is one of the very typical driver for reducing sustainability, and eradicating it and restoring with native community is very, very important to restore sustainability of urban center. These are the various moram mine pits. Without changing the landscape, we restore the entire area, and now these areas become, animals came into it. We have breeding population of jackal along with other animals. If you see, many new bird species arrived. For example, first time we have seen Indian pitta in Aravali. Now, recently there is a bird called hornbill. Pied hornbill is in a limelight from Delhi, but first time we recorded from Aravali Biodiversity Park. And these Biodiversity Park become very important living laboratory where IS trainees, IFS trainees, range officers trainees, CAG also sent about 30 foreign countries, and many students, schools and colleges, researchers, they visit, learn and understand and witness the birth of a dead ecosystem. And Biodiversity Park are now, you have seen that such initiative where many of the ecological functions are transformed into reality. Many people say, government asks that what you earn. Recently, we did one ecosystem services estimation, and Aravali Biodiversity Park alone, we have estimated that how much money we earn. And for all the Biodiversity Park, we estimated that we earn about 600 crores of water alone, carbon sequestration, AQI reduction, and what you call water recharging, etc., heat island reduction. These are the extra money. And further, we are working on Yamuna and Kamna Ridge. Soon we will come out with data. So we suggested government that any money spent on biodiversity it should be seen as what you call investment, because biodiversity is life. It is insurance of life itself. And such biodiversity parks become ecologically resilient landscape with varying habitat types, water regime, and altitudinal gradient could contribute to adaptation through maintaining and restoring native plant communities and wetlands and grassland. So this is the basic aspect where I try to throw light on the ecological restoration, and these are the successful story which I address. But the most important question which I'd like to argue, especially with the student, that what we are looking for and why we are waiting for, because we have a tool. If you see, science was the tool which has created this serious problem of degradation, which is what you call, which is compromising the water demand, air quality, and many other things for the human well-being. So, how do we see? Again, I think science is the only answer. Science bring respite. Science bring mitigation. Science bring restoration to site. So now the time has gone that we must see the building new restoration, India's new restoration economy. Even Government of India, you see, has a very ambitious vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, if you remember, and net zero 2070. So looking at the government views, you know, uh, when you look at the uh, our commitment to ecological restoration, which is a cornerstone for achieving, in fact, global environmental goal, for securing a what you call resilient future. If you see, and we are we are one of the members signing country of Montreal Protocol and Global Biodiversity Framework, Montreal Protocol Global Biodiversity Framework, where we have committed to restore 26 million hectare by 2030. So, what is the answer to it? Answer to it that more and more people should come forward. I remember today, as you asked me, I'm so occupied that I have no time for my home. And sometimes I go to Uttarakhand, sometimes I go to Chhattisgarh, sometimes I go to Vijayawada, sometimes almost every week I am out for two to 3 days, because there are so many tasks. Development is inevitable. Though we kept fighting to restrict development, we kept fighting to see that how sustainable method can be adopted. But most of the time, people are asking more roads, more building. So the government is constructing more roads, more building. So the more more what you call degradation. So how to address this scenario that the existing population of the country can at least get air and water, and ecological restoration provides wonderful opportunity, and especially the student who are looking for it, they can easily become practitioner by studying what you call wildlife biology, environmental sciences, and other related sciences, to understand that how to what you call bring back those pristine glory, ecological glory, so that the surviving ecosystem can provide you ecosystem goods and services. Because um, actually, as far as career is concerned, I remember myself started initially. I did my masters in environmental biology from Delhi University, Then my professor suggested me that you must go and work in field. Then I went to work in Kanha, Bandhavgarh, and I worked on community and associated them with tiger, in tiger habitats, and it became very important study, and that further helped me. Then I shifted to Kuno, and I worked there for 8 years, where I get my PhD. Kuno National Park, which is where you find new big cat, the cheetah, arrived. Though we fought against cheetah, we actually fought against cheetah, and we requested government not to bring it through court, but it never happened. Um, what I'm trying to convey, that from there I came to Delhi, and now since last many years I am working on degraded landscape, and people are in high demand. Government work, for example, National Mission for Clean Ganga, uh, MOEF, the state government, the Rail Vikas Nigam, the National Highway Authority, everybody is doing a lot of development work, and that development leads to disaster. And that mitigating that disaster is very crucial, especially in high altitude. You see how many, how the situation is pathetic. The rivers are dying, and many problems are, erected. So actually, India's challenge and opportunity lie in building a new restoration economy. Mind it, this economy is huge, because we need to restore more and more land, more and more area, so that we need to come out with a model where ecology and livelihood grow together. And if we can able to do it, it would be a wonderful model. And I must tell you, my dear student, if you are listening to me, there are very few people. Since we are in government, we are not asking money. We go, we get logistic support. But there are many consultants, they are taking so much of money in World Bank, in many other places. People are not there to work, because from every nook and corner, we are being contacted by the government. Please do it. This is the amount of money we have. Please help us. Please develop butterfly conservatory. Please help us restoring this forest patch. Sorry. So therefore, I tell you, there are plenty of opportunity, because when we are suffering, the nature is suffering. Who will become the nature warrior to restore it, so that this mother nature help us, support us, so that this what do you call planet Earth can survive and help us surviving. I tell you, while working in Kana National Park, I interacted with the ecotourism people. Are you listening? Everybody is listening to me.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. We all
Yes,
are
Yes, sir.
I,
attending.
I,
yes, sir.
I remember I remember interacting with many international tour agents. In India, the tour agents are not educated, but I have seen that some IE expedition and such and many expeditions from Australia, United States, and UK, they were all scientists bringing tourists to Kana and Bandhavgarh. Means there's plenty of opportunity if you have knowledge, you have grabbed a lot of information, made it knowledge, and take informed decision. Then you are highly sellable in the market. Nobody can stop you. So the ecotourism is another important field which is need to be explored. Not that only Gir National Park is the destination. As an educated, well studied PhD, doc studies, or wildlife biology, or restoration ecologist, you can become one of the excellent person who can sell the buffer area, the small forest patches, restore it, help restoring it, and even a small component of invertebrate or smaller vertebrate will bring happiness to the people, night camping, etc. Similarly, wildlife photography is another very big, what do you call, field, where I see many of the people are working, and photographs are being sold to what do you call, big institutions, for which what we need actually in fact, when you look at the conservation biology, it requires individuals from multiple background to come together. And what you need to do, you need to be expert in either analytical skills or fieldwork skills, because fieldwork skills are also important. How to collect data, how much collect data, and then communication and writing skill play very very important role. Mind it, if you are a very good communicator, probably you would be the wonderful person to sell your thought and sell your ideas to the world. So therefore, for example, when you look at the recent development in the country, you have a national mission for a what do you call green India. The Aravali Green Wall initiative is taking place from Delhi to Gujarat. When you see, there are many wetland and coastal restoration work is going on through National Mission for Clean Ganga. River basin restoration become very very important component, and therefore looking at the opportunity, more and more people, more and more hands are required. Otherwise, people think that there are many people working in the field, but I must tell you there are very few people, handful of people. You can count 5, 10, 15, 20, not many people. So therefore more and more people can join, and we can make big community, and which can support ecosystem, uh, and we earn our own sustenance. Thank you very much for the patience.
So much, sir. Wonderful presentation. We can have some questions. Saki, can
Yes.
you read some of them?
Yes.
Now it's open for the interaction. Participants may ask your questions. Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Is there any question from the participants?
Yes,
Pranjay.
Pranjay, you can ask. Pranjay, you can type your question as well if you don't want to speak. We will read it for you.
Pranjay is asking that I want to go in wildlife conservation. What should I choose for my MSc?
I think sir has a network issue.
Yes.
You can, Pranjay, I can answer your question. You can choose any of the life science field if you want to do wildlife conservation things in your life. You can also do it particularly hardcore wildlife science BSc, MSc. You can also do zoology, microbiology, botany, biotechnology. So it's like kind of an interdisciplinary area where all the sciences can be helpful. And at the end, you need to do like if you are a animal person, you definitely need to identify plants as well when you study ecology. So just stick to one good degree course and learn everything.
There is another question from Pranjal.
I'm sorry.
We are going to.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yes,
sitting
sir.
in Delhi, but it's still, the network is a big issue. I'm in a remote area. When you are in forest, sometimes you miss this opportunity. but you enjoy your vicinity with excellent air quality and very good water. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So Pranjal is having some questions, sir. Asaki, can you read the questions for sir?
Saki, you're mute.
Sorry. Pranjal is asking that I am going to choose toxicology after my MSc final. Is this right that after choosing this field, I can work in wildlife as well? And is toxicology more important today to work in wildlife also?
Yes, why not? Right in the beginning, during my presentation, I suggested that how soil toxicity is increasing and that lead to land degradation. So toxicology is a very important subject. Not only that, in wildlife field itself, toxicology plays very important role while working in wildlife areas. I have seen that how water hole monitoring become very, very important when it is being poisoned by the poachers. So toxicology is very important aspect. Not only that, within water, if you take a fish sample and try to study that what is the water quality, water might be looking clean, but whether it is embedded with what you call heavy metal and other chemical, so that will help to understand many ecological what you call issues with the help of toxicology. You must go ahead. Go ahead. Best of luck.
Thank you, sir. There is another question from Rupal Pala. She's asking that how much time does it take to become a fully developed ecological restoration in particular area?
You see, the model which we have developed, as I said, we have arrested the succession. So it took 7 to 10 years, maximum 10 years, a fully functional. Though in 5 years it has started functioning, but in 10 years it is fully functional with all trophic structure, trophic with trophic cascade.
हम सटनी में लगता के पास 108 बोले
Please go ahead.
There is another question from Pranjay. He is asking that is bioinformatics good in wildlife research and conservation?
What he said? Bioinformatics.
Bioinformatics.
It is added. It is an added benefit. If you know it, you are master of many things.
There is another question from Sandhya. She's asking that, sir, I just completed my master's from zoology and I am confused at what to do next, how to join wildlife conservation field. I am interested in wildlife. Is there any project to work or something? Please explain.
You see, there might be many project. Project is not a big issue, but you need to first satisfy yourself that you have chosen zoology as a subject during your masters. Means you had something in your mind, because the basic question which comes from the basic science like zoology, that heterozygosity, homozygosity, you must have read, and that is very important question need to be asked, that when forest is shrinking and population are, isolated populations are there, where these subjects become very crucial. If you are a zoologist, then try finding out those fields which can help you to connect these isolated population, and that will have wonderful what you call opening for your career.
Thank you, sir. There is another question from Nausharat. He's asking, like, requesting any conservation opportunity. I have bachelor degree in wildlife management from College of African Wildlife Management, Tanzania.
Yes, we can see it. Share your CV, etc., through your institution so that we can find it out, right?
Any tips on how the field of wildlife forensic is?
You see, if you remember, in the person who was asked this question, I hope he is aware that in 2006 there was a big problem in India on tiger, when two tiger reserve of India, like one Panna Tiger Reserve and Sariska, have lost tiger. So until you have forensic, once CBI was in force, you might not be knowing, CBI was in force at both the places to investigate the area that how poaching took place, how the what do you call even the meta population got disseminated. So therefore, forensic science plays very important role. Yes, wherever you have poaching issue, and forensic also plays important role is in a smaller, what you call, component like fish.
Network issue. No problem. Meanwhile, you can share your question in the chat box.
Yes, please.
So it's a wonderful, you can go for forensic science. Yes.
Is there any more questions? I think no. Okay. So thank you very much, sir. It was really great to interact with you. Now I would like to invite Miss Sabah Khan to give a vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. So, it is a time of vote of thanks. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the esteemed speaker, Mr. Fayaz Kutsar. Sir, your expertise increase our knowledge, and it is indeed a very informative and inspiring talk and session. It is very grateful to be to listen you. Further, I want to thank the Vice Chancellor of University, Professor Pratap Singh Chauhan sir, for his constant leadership. I also want to thank the Director of CWCS, Dr. Nishit Dharaiya, for his enormous support in organizing this webinar series. A special thanks to the coordinator, Ms. Shabnam Sayyed ma'am, for his dedication and planning for this webinar series. Thanks to Saki for conducting this session. And thank you all of you for being a good listeners and for your valuable participation to make this webinar a successful session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Sabah. I just want to request everyone to just open your camera so we can have a good screenshot of every one of us.
There are 42 participants and only 5-6 phases I can see. So they are hiding. Don't go in hibernation because temperature is increasing. Wait for some more time. Winter is far away. In summer also we go for hibernation, but there will be a lot of problem. Come out, come out.
Dear all, please open your camera.
Anyway, please click whosoever is seen. Wonderful.
Okay, I think we have taken.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much,
Thank you very much.
once again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Best of luck, Mike.